set a big bullseye mark on your back, so every other team now wants to beat us. We are the team to beat. I do believe I have the tools to win this championship.
Eyes forward, let's go and get him.
And we go green at Tempelhof.
Okay, so stay with him.
Confirm. Oh, they're side by side on the way out. Boom!
Wow! What the
They bang wheels. Antonio Felix da Costa wins again in Berlin. Absolutely stunning stuff.
Yes! We did it, baby. We're back.
Hello and welcome to the stunning city of Berlin, where the ABB FIA Formula E Championship is back for a sensational season finale. And this is a real first in motorsport. 9 days, 6 races on 3 different track configurations, all to crown one champion. Now, we've already had 2 rounds in Berlin, and Antonio Felix da Costa was victorious in both of them. And if he wins today, he could be crowned our Season 6 champion. So it's up to the rest of the pack to stop him right here in qualifying.
After a 5-month hiatus, Formula E is back with an epic 6-race finale that will decide the Season 6 championship. When racing was suspended in March, we'd already seen a record 9 different winners from the last 9 races. But now one man is firmly on the rise.
Da Costa out of the final corner. He wins in Marrakesh.
Yes! Let's go, boys!
Round 5 in Marrakesh gave us a new championship leader, and Antonio Felix da Costa just hasn't stopped winning since. In the opening race of the Berlin finale, when championship rivals faltered,
And Gunter hits Evans, and he drops a long way down the order. He's not going to score any points today, Mitch Evans.
Idiots. Keep going, keep going.
no one could believe the pace of the Portuguese driver, especially his teammate Jean-Eric Verne.
I mean, it is clearly over-consuming and not following the beat. It's a joke.
While everyone else was pulling their hair out, dominant da Costa put the hammer down, becoming the first ever driver to claim a maximum haul of 30 points.
Looking forward to watch it on TV. Thanks, guys.
Round 7 was the chance to hit reset for other championship contenders to come back into the mix. But not everyone was reading from that script, and da Costa's stock continues to climb. First, he topped qualifying by nearly half a second.
That was a nice lap.
And in the race, he was driving a different line, timing everything to perfection.
Antonio Felix da Costa wins again in Berlin.
Yes! Van Finish!
3 in a row. Amazing.
Leading the championship by some margin, da Costa isn't quite home and dry yet, but one more class act from him today, and it could just be a stroll to the title. 9 days, 6 races, 3 tracks, 1 champion.
Yes, hello, welcome. I'm joined by Jack Nicholls and Dario Franchitti. Gentlemen, we've had 2 races so far, 2 very different races, but 2 very similar outcomes. Antonio Felix da Costa, Jack, he could, if everything goes his way, put his firm hands on that championship trophy today.
Yeah, he could clinch it today. It's a pretty unlikely scenario. He needs to win and hope that about 8 of the other drivers don't score any points, which is obviously quite unlikely. And some of it could be decided in qualifying as well, because if he doesn't score points in qualifying for pole position or fastest lap in the groups, that means he has to win later on to seal the championship. If he picks up all the points from qualifying, a 2nd position in the race could do it, but I don't see it being won today. And from free practice, I wonder whether he's going to have the same level of domination today that we've seen the last 2 races.
Dario, he has been dominant in qualifying, and we're going to find out a few moments' time what's going to happen today. But why is he so good in quali?
Well, I think a lot of it has got to do with this track and the reverse layout. He just seemed to gel with it straight away. Clearly, the DS Techeetah car is very good. He's just, with this surface, it's a very peculiar surface, high tyre degradation, but not massive grip. But he's so far ahead of the car just now, Verne. Even when he makes a slight mistake, he can make up for it. And he is got so much confidence, and that is proven very challenging for the other drivers.
Jack, we've got some familiar names in his wake trying to catch him. It's going to be tough for those guys, but it's possible.
It's possible. It's possible. I think.
Let's keep this narrative going, Jack. Come on, give us hope.
It's possible. It's possible. I think the thing I'm going to be focusing on is what can people do to just have a good race and to win a race, because we're in those closing stages of the season. the people are going to want to prove themselves up against Da Costa. You know, Da Costa is now the benchmark, but if people can beat him today, beat him tomorrow, beat him in the couple of races next week, that'll do the world of good for their confidence as well as their championship position, even if they can't ultimately beat him for the title this year.
But isn't it interesting that we've got some wily old Formula E foxes trying to catch him up? Buemi, Lucas Di Grassi, same faces year in, year out.
Yeah, those guys yet again yesterday proved their ability, their strength. But if I'm Da Costa today, I'm thinking about this as a two-day plan. I'm not trying to win it today. If it wins it today, great, but I'm not putting any pressure on myself to win it. I'm just thinking, right, I just have to do a reasonable job today, and then I'll do the same again tomorrow. I'm not sort of putting that heavy pressure on, because that's when mistakes happen. That's when you crash. That just ramps up the pressure yet again for tomorrow's race.
And you talk about all the old guard here in Formula E, and I think that's something really interesting. Da Costa is the first driver to really infiltrate that old guard, to infiltrate the ex-Formula 1 drivers who then came to Formula E. Da Costa was on the road to Formula 1, didn't work out for him, and he's made his career here in Formula E now, which I think is really cool if he goes on to win the championship.
And obviously, that's a great story for the series in itself. Dario, today we've got a new track, but it's not a new track, it's a familiar track. But it's a new track compared to the first two races that we were racing on, which weren't a familiar track because they were the familiar track, but backwards.
Basically, we're doing the backwards race backwards.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why he gets the big book, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so we're going that way today. No, it's a traditional layout, and yes, it's the same length, it's the same as the track we use with the reverse direction, but the rhythm of this track is different. That's one thing, and that's will mix up the order. Then Michelin have lowered the minimum starting tyre pressure as well. That's going to change the handling of the car both in qualifying and in the race. That's going to be something that the teams are going to have to adapt to.
Let's stop, collaborate and listen. Why have they done that?
They've done that because the tyre degradation is so high at this track. Normally you raise the tyre pressure to avoid damaging the carcass of the tyre. They say the tyre's bulletproof, lower it, off we go.
OK, Jack, just quickly, time's going to be any different going the normal way as to what we've seen going the reverse way?
Well, you would expect them to be different. They have a chance to be different, but they're actually pretty close, which is quite surprising. The other big thing with this track, I think, we won't see it today, but more overtaking opportunities. So if your qualifying doesn't go well today, you've got a better chance of climbing up in the race tomorrow.
OK, as always, gentlemen, thank you very much. Nicky is with one of the gentlemen who is trying to chase Antonio Felix da Costa, Lucas Di Grassi.
Well, one driver who can keep this championship fight alive is our 2016-17 champion, Lucas Di Grassi. Lucas, what is it going to take for you to stop Antonio Felix da Costa winning the championship?
Well, at this stage, I think maybe a meteor or something, because he has such a big advantage right now that although it's mathematical possible, it's very, very, very unlikely that for normal circumstances he cannot win this championship. And he's fast, so it's not that he's not scoring anymore. He has been scoring consistently in the last two races. He's in a different class than all the others, so he's very, very hard to lose this title.
And what about today? You know, how much risk are you willing to take? Because there's also a massive fight for second place in the championship at the moment. 5 points between yourself and Sebastian Buemi, who's down in 6th, so it's really close.
Yeah, really close. It's all about risk management. You cannot take a lot of risk, although you end up crashing or not scoring too many points. And if you don't take enough risks, also you don't score any points because the field is very close. So it's all about the right risk management and doing the right things. Motivating people, because we've been here for a very long time now, and you know, the energy starts to fade away, and we need to keep hungry to get more podiums and more points.
And you know, you're a previous champion. How do you think Antonio is feeling right now, given that so much is at stake?
Given that the championship is almost won, I think he should be feeling quite relaxed, because different from the other championships, there was a fight, at least a two-way fight between me and somebody, or yeah, mostly between me, Buemi, and Jev, actually, all the championships that has been so far. And this year, Da Costa is very, very far away, so he should be pretty relaxed. I don't think he's very nervous, although, you know, winning a championship, the race, you're always sleeping with that thing back on the back of your mind, saying, what if I do a mistake? What if I do this or that? But Berlin is a track which has, it's less likely to do mistakes.
All right, well, thanks very much, Lucas Grassi, and all the best for qualifying. Now, let's take a little look at what qualifying is all about.
ABB FIA Formula E qualifying takes place on race day prior to the main E-Prix. The cars split into 4 groups of 6 drivers based on reverse championship order. In this group qualifying session, each driver gets just 1 flying lap to set a time. They're given the full power allocation of 250 kilowatts, but with the race happening shortly after, there's very little time for the team to repair a damaged car. So margins are fine and mistakes often costly. Drivers have to find the line between going as quick as possible, but not risking a crash and potentially missing out on the race. At the end of the session, the fastest 6 drivers proceed to the Super Pole shootout, with the fastest gaining a championship point. The top 6 drivers will go out one by one for another flying lap. The fastest driver is awarded pole position and 3 potentially crucial championship points.
Okay, it's time for qualifying, so let's go straight over to our commentary team of Dario Franchitti and Jack Nicholls.
Thank you very much, Matt. Looking forward to this one. It's going to be a very, very entertaining qualifying session, this. Although we are still in Berlin, we are going backwards round the backwards track. So it's going to be fascinating to see what unfolds, because the session is hot for a start, Dario, and we didn't quite see all of everyone's pace in free practice earlier on. I think some of the title contenders that have fallen by the wayside over the last 3 days might be back in the mix.
Yeah, definitely shaking things up, Jack. The rhythm of the track, the traditional layout is helping some people. The lower tyre pressure from Michelin, that's going to mix things up a little bit more. And then we just put in the difficulty of trying to do a perfect lap. 1 lap, 1 chance to do it.
So here's a look at the groups for qualifying. They will be going out in championship order, basically. So Group 1 has the top 6 drivers in the standings: Bird, Van Dorn, De Grassi, Da Costa, Evans and Buemi. Group 2 is the second group, and then in Group 4 you've got the drivers at the bottom of the standings, but not necessarily the slowest. Alex Lynn made it through to Super Pole. Sergio said the camera looks exciting. If he can hook up his lap in qualifying as much as he has been doing in free practices, then the Brazilian has got a chance of maybe getting through to Super Pole. He's looked quick at times.
Yeah, absolutely. He's thrown some laps in, hasn't he, in practice yesterday. But just, you know, back both qualifying sessions, not quite managed it yet, but he's got the talent. He almost had a big shunt this morning, gathered it all together. He doesn't lack confidence.
There's Mitch Evans getting ready to head out on track in Group 1. Such a frustrating couple of days for Mitch Evans, and he's going to be hoping he can do something a little better now. Qualifying for round 7 of the ABB FIA Formula E Championship about to get underway. Round 8, my apologies. It's flying by so quickly here in Berlin. There's the TV tower down in the heart of the city at Alexanderplatz. We are a couple of kilometers south at the Berlin Tempelhof Airport. Built in the 1930s, it was the largest building in the world. There you can see the runway up to the top, and those are the drivers that are going to be going out in the first group of qualifying. The top 6 in the championship, including commanding championship leader Antonio Felix da Costa, 68 points clear of the rest of the pack. What can he do today? Can he take another pole position? Can he be the first driver to take 4 pole positions in a row? Can he be the first driver to take 4 wins in a row? That question is for Dario Franchitti.
More difficult today. Yeah. That's why I get the big bucks. No, more difficult today. I was just sitting here thinking, this situation is tailor-made for Antonio Felix da Costa. You know, we've seen his form fluctuate over a season, but because everything is just one after that, this is perfect for him.
Interesting, interesting. The light goes green at the end of the pit lane, so drivers can go out onto track now, but they won't. They will remain in the pits for probably 3 minutes or so, and there weren't many of the front runners that are doing an out prep quali, that are going out doing their warm-up lap and then going full power. Most of them over the last couple of days have been just doing out lap then straight on it.
Just because it's so hot. It's, I think, 4 degrees hotter than it was in free practice 2, and it is baking out the Jack. We've just walked back from the pit lane. There's your numbers. I'm not sure I believe 37 track. It feels hotter than that. The air is just incredibly hot. That's hard for the tyres. The drivers were complaining this morning, even by the end of one single lap, the rear tyres were going off. So it's key how you bring the tyres into their operating zone and how you use them throughout that lap. And I think this is it's as valid for those in Group 1 as it is for those in Group 4. Don't let your ambition get ahead of the group available out there today. That's when the mistakes happen.
Stoffel van Dorn about to head out onto the circuit. He had a second place qualifying in Diriyah, the first race of the season. Since then hasn't been higher than 9th. Had a pole position before in Hong Kong last year, and the Mercedes that were silver, now black, supporting end racism and the Black Lives Matter campaign. And it's all very quiet on the grid, on the circuit at the moment. You see one of the planes that was involved in the Berlin airlift of the end of the Second World War there on the apex of turn 6, and there's Mitch Evans.
Yeah, I think Mitch Evans is trying to stop the slump, isn't he, Jack? 13th and 12th, his last 2 finishing positions, and the Jaguar that looked so dominant in it seems so long ago now, 5 months ago, they'll be looking to get that form back today and starting off now 13th quickest in free practice 2.
So what a peaceful start to this qualifying session before it explodes into life in about a minute and a half's time. Evans, yeah, 0 points. So he's suddenly, put it this way, Evans in the last 2, there is Da Costa ready to go out. He's got a huge point in the championship lead. He's got a huge lead in the championship. He's scored 59 points over the 2 races in Berlin. Mitch Evans scored 0. His lead is 68. The gap was 11 points 3 days ago, and Da Costa's been sublime and perfect. Evans has not scored any points, and that's it. In the space of 2 races, it just turns around so dramatically. So I guess the question is, could it spin back the other way so dramatically? Yeah, it could. But it's just so unlikely, because what Da Costa did was unlikely.
It's going to have to be dramatic, isn't it, to spin around that much? And again, we're on that same surface we talked about. Antonio Felix Da Costa looked reasonably quick, 6th quickest this morning, free practice 2. So, yeah, I'm not sure I buy that one. The Jaguar guys will have been working very hard, because neither Jaguar was quick enough. And yeah, Mitch Evans, he's got to focus here. If you actually watch the drivers look into the helmets, when you see that their eyes are almost in a sort of a trance-like state as they're just getting ready and just focusing to head out into the sunshine for qualifying in not too distant future, I would say.
That is Da Costa, De Grassi, Evans and Bird in...
What's this thing called again, Jack, the 4?
It's called a... I don't think I know what it's called, actually. It's called a quad split.
Ah.
Found that out yesterday. No, I think I knew. Anyway.
There you go. There, look at the eyes.
That's called a single.
That's called a single. In that single, Sebastian Buemi, he's almost got that faraway look. He's not even he's not registering what he's looking at. He's all in his mind and just planning that lap out.
This will be really cool, because who's going to go out first? Evans, but he's further down the pit lane than Da Costa. And look, Techeetah are waiting till he gets there and then sending Da Costa out. Go.
Oh, he's missed it.
That was so interesting on the split. You saw them trying to get Da Costa out ahead of Evans, but Evans is now at the front of the queue, and you're not so worried in Berlin about being a track sweeper, I don't think, where we've seen so many times in the past, being first out in Q1, don't bother, son, but it's actually not too bad here.
No, and they swept the track, they cleaned the track yesterday to get rid of the rubber from races 1 and 2 on the reverse direction track, but I think there's still a lot of rubber down there, so this to me, I think guys out front, Mitch Evans done the right thing to get out front and got a nice clear track ahead of him. Any of these guys make a mistake, Mitch Evans a good chance he can finish his lap without getting interrupted. But you see Sam Bird, there's a good chance one of the guys ahead of him makes mistakes. That ruins his lap. That's Stoffel van Dorn. There we go. Yeah. The other Sam Bird, and you can see them all. Oh, Stoffel's trying to get track position. Now, if these guys have all got to make space and make a gap in the next 4 corners before they start the lap. They've got 42 seconds to cross the start line before the checkered flag falls.
This is all a bit busy, isn't it? They've got plenty of time, but they're all quite close out there.
Yeah, and will this have compromised their warm-up? You see Sam Bird changing his, look at it, off the back, they're just slowing down. But if you look at Degrassi, you're really close to Sebastian Buemi ahead,
In
where
fact,
Mitch Evans has just taken off.
They've got 15 seconds left on the clock. Evans is going to make it. It's not going to be super easy for the guys at the back. I think they are all going to make it just about. Here we go. Time ticking down. Yeah, with 3 seconds to go, Sam Bird makes it. But that's all got a little bit awkward there and busy. He's in behind Stoffel Van Dorn, and he's gone a little bit wide at turn 1, but that all got so clustered up, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely compromised Sam Bird's lap. You've got to say already he's in trouble. As we watch Mitch Evans coming down to turn 6, heavy braking, bumpy braking zone. Expected a bunch of lockups there. Mitch Evans dancing the car in on the brakes, correcting the slide, but he got a bit wide on exit. That will have cost him some time. How was his first? Stoffel Van Dorn, quickest of anybody through the first split by some margin. I say some margin, it's like a 1/10 of a second, but that's how close things have been if your name is not Antonio Felix da Costa.
Here comes Evans, up towards the final corner at turn 10. Through the left-hander now, and it's Van Dorn who's quickest in the first sector. Here comes Evans, checker flag falling, cuts the timing beam, and he does a 1 minute 7.197, reasonable, but Van Dorn is flying here. Van Dorn is going to destroy them. He's well up on Da Costa. Da Costa goes to the top of the times, the 1 minute 16.9. Van Dorn goes 2/10 quicker. Bird, even though he was following Van Dorn, is half a second adrift. Good lap there from Stoffel Van Dorn.
Mighty lap, and that's about what we saw this morning in terms of lap time, but to be 2.5 tenths quicker than Da Costa. Slightly out of breath, Stoffel Van Dorn. Mighty lap. Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, I mean, Sebastian Buemi, can't see those guys going through to Superpole with that pace. Da Costa and Degrassi are in down 2, I would say. Or was Van Dorn's lap so spectacular?
Yeah, wow, good work from Stoffel Van Dorn, and then as I...
awesome job, guys.
Stoffel saying awesome job, guys, and well, we were saying that he needed to work out his qualifying. He's had the front row of the grid in the first race in Saudi, then nothing higher than 9th. He's pretty much booked himself a place in Superpole. Stoffel Van Dorn then at the top, 2/10 of a second ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. Degrassi 3rd, Buemi 4th, Evans 5th, Sam Bird in 6th position. Very, very impressive stuff. Next out, we'll have the second 6 drivers, but Van Dorn quicker than Da Costa. Oliver Rowland, Jean-Eric Verne, Alexander Sims, Maximilian Günther, Andre Lotterer and Eduardo Mortara, the 6 drivers out in the next group of qualifying, and that's another point gone for Da Costa. Didn't top the groups yesterday, Sebastian Buemi did. And let's have a look at this driver's eye lap with Stoffel Van Dorn.
See somebody locking up ahead of him.
Is that distracting?
Yeah, it would be, but Stoffel managed to keep his focus a lot better than I would. Got round to turn 1, watch this quick flick to the right, using the throttle to try and steer the rear of the car. Bit of a snatch of oversteer. This corner is critical, turn 4. Got to get on the throttle. Yep, nice, out wide. Now you're trying to pick out your braking point already for turn 6. And watch the bumps, watch his head move on the bumps as he hits the brakes. Coming up. You hear the car hitting the ground. Again, managed to get the car, missed the apex in 6 and still did this lap. A little bit of a lift, almost like he dragged the brakes a bit through turn 7. Flat through 8, heavy braking then coming up for the hairpin in 9. Easy to overextend, just trying that little bit too hard. You can look at your mirror and see the car behind as he goes through the hairpin. He's not been distracted by that at all. Gently on the brakes, release the brakes, get the car turned, back to throttle, try not to overdo it on the throttle application though. Over to the left, shorten the distance to the line. That was a mighty lap. Well done, Stoffel Van Dorn.
Very impressive performance then from Stoffel Van Dorn. Rowland, Verne, Sims, Günther, Lotterer and Mortara, the next 6 drivers out. There is Jean-Eric Verne. How he would love to get through to Superpole, because he was, I think this is the weird part of Verne's campaign, or not campaign, but last couple of races in Berlin so far. Superpole, he was second on the grid for the first race. He was comfortably leading the race with Da Costa halfway through the first race. Something happened halfway through. and it's unravelled. He was then nowhere in qualifying yesterday, 2 days ago, nowhere in the race really, but it all started fine.
Now let's see what happens today. Let's see what his recovery is like on this track, because he's a double champion for a reason, the current Formula E champion. I'm excited to see his fight back.
There is Max Günther getting ready to head out. There is the cooling breeze on Oliver. Oh, does that actually do anything? Because it feels like it's such a tiny little...
Anything at this point. You're sitting there baking. This is the worst point for a driver, just sitting there. Everything heat soaking. And yeah, you take anything you can get.
So Roland getting ready to go out. Couple of pole positions last year, Ollie Roland. Can he secure another? Couple of minutes before the action gets underway in Q2 on a very hot day here in Berlin. We've got 6 more drivers ready to go out there. Stoffel van Dorn is quickest at the moment on a 1 minute 6.714. He, Da Costa, De Grassi, Buemi, Evans and Bird are the 6 drivers. Looks as though one of the drivers is heading out pretty early, but while Roland's doing his outlap, let's go down and speak to Nicky Shields.
Well, certainly feeling the heat down here at the DS Techeetah garage. I'm here with team principal Mark Preston. Mark, we saw there Antonio Felix da Costa 2/10 off the top spot at the moment. Do you think that's enough to get through to Super Bowl? And if not, how is that going to affect him today?
We heard Stoffel just finishing the lap just now, and he seemed pretty happy with his time. So hopefully Stoffel's time's really good, and Antonio's is right in behind him. But we'll just have to wait and see. They obviously changed tyre pressures overnight, and that helped everyone else a little bit. Antonio seemed to have it sorted on the different tyre pressures. But we'll wait and see, and if he'll deal with it if he is not got as much pressure as everybody else. So I think even if he doesn't get into Super Bowl, he'll be pretty calm.
I mean, last season you said that you'd signed the best drivers pairing. Coming into this season, signing Antonio Felix da Costa, did you have any idea that he would be doing so well at comfortably beating Jean-Eric Vergne?
And not by this much of a margin to everybody in the field. I mean, he obviously suited this track, so that's turned out to our advantage. But yeah, quite amazing, really.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to see how he gets on. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Great question there from Nicky. When you hired Da Costa, did you imagine he would be comfortably beating Jean-Eric Vergne by this much?
Ouch.
Yeah, great stuff. And it's true, because and it must be difficult as a team boss, but Mark Preston said earlier this year, we've got the best driver pairing on the grid, which when Lotte has just left you to go to Porsche, is obviously a little bit of a backhanded, you know, whatever on Lotterer.
Remember when he said it, we looked at each other and went, ouch.
But to bring in a driver who is beating this man, Jean-Eric Vergne, is pretty impressive.
Well, as a team principal, you don't generally hire slow drivers if you can help it. That's the thing. I mean, Jean-Eric might prefer it if his teammate was a little bit more behind him, but you've got to put together the best driver pairing you can. I'm sure they didn't expect Da Costa to be so dominant, though. As we see Alexander Sims leaving pit lane. Max Günther heading out the same way in the BMW.
So that must have been Buemi coming back into the pits that we saw a moment ago, because we thought Roland was on his outlap.
I thought it was a bit early for Roland.
Yeah, exactly. So it must have been Buemi coming back in. Oh yeah, because he went through to Super Bowl, he doesn't have to stop and get, or maybe he didn't have to get weighed, or he'd already was first in to get weighed, or whatever. It was him coming back down the pit lane.
This is the bit you and I have talked about, Jack, with Oliver Roland. Last season, so impressive in qualifying, and the team have kind of told him, because he was either crashing or on the front row or on pole position, they've either told him to sort of calm it down a bit, and it seems to have hurt him. He's trying to find that happy medium, and that's a difficult thing to do. It's not doesn't help a driver when you say, you know, just don't crash at this session, okay.
1 hour and 10 minutes to go, and I think, is it different if you have a session where, let's say you've got a 30-minute session and you can build up and you've got a couple of new sets of tyres, and actually that's not too different to what you would do standardly, but when it's all on one lap, to guarantee not crashing on one lap is a lot tougher?
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. You've got that one, you've got to make all those split decisions, and there's a lot of pressure on every decision you make. It is easier, and Sims is on a lap already. He's wound it up, 2:11 to full qualifying power. using the curb in turn 4, pushed him a bit wide in 5. And he's pushing for the line. Sims, another one who needs to get his season really back on track.
Through sector 1, and he's a couple of tenths adrift of Van Dorn, but he's in the mix with everyone else really in that top 6. So this is a bit more encouraging for Sims, who has maybe struggled.
Whoa, used the curb again and got a big snap of oversteer through the kink in 7.
Sims has gone very early, hasn't he, compared to everyone else? Oh, another one at the hairpin at 9.
And as close as the field it was yesterday, was in practice today, that's all it takes really to probably knock him out of Super Bowl contention.
Here he comes through the final corner after the middle. His middle sector was decent as well. He would have been in contention for your Da Costa de Grassi area, but he comes across the line now and he's 5th, 4/10 of a second away, and it pretty much all, it was 2/10 in the final sector.
Byrne is on it. Jean-Eric Byrne.
Wow.
Properly on it.
Van Dorn's under investigation for not following technical event notes, so we'll get to the bottom of what that is, but Verne is 3/10 up, so is Andre Lotterer. In the Porsche's on a very good lap as well. Here comes Gunter across the line to go second, only a tenth slower than Stoffel Van Dorn, but Verne goes top. A 1 minute 6.597. Andre Lotterer in the Porsche doing well. He's 8 thousandths up on Jean-Eric Verne after the first 2 sectors. There is Eduardo Mortara across the line, and he slots into 7th place ahead of Buemi, Sims and Evans. So Evans is a long way away here. Buemi getting shuffled down. Roland out qualifies his teammate and goes up into 6th place.
And Lotterer, P4 Jack.
Yeah.
2/10 back. Mighty lap from Jean-Eric Verne.
I thought Evans was going to be back in it today, but 11th and 12th on the grid at the moment out of the 12 drivers that have been out. But Jean-Eric Verne, little moment of redemption for him after the first 2 races.
Bet he's thinking, remember me? 1 lap doesn't, what did they say, 1 swallow doesn't make a summer. 1 lap doesn't make a season. But that's impressive to see with all the pressure he is under.
N'oubliez pas moi.
Very good, very good.
I think that's Don't Forget Me or something, I don't know.
Was that a song you learned that from, Jack?
No, I don't know why. Here's the results. Jean-Eric Verne at the top of the times, a 1 minute 6.597, just over a tenth ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn. Gunter, Lotterer, Da Costa, Roller. Da Costa, it's not impossible. He doesn't make it through to Super Bowl here. De Grassi 7th, Mortara, Buemi, Sims, Evans, Bird, the top 12. Still 12 more drivers to run, though. Da Costa's under a bit of danger. Group 3 about to go out. Freitz, De Vries, Massa, Abt, Collado, D'Ambrosio. D'Ambrosio is in with a shot of Super Pole, as is Robin Freitz, as is actually Nick De Vries, was really quick in practice earlier. And then Group 4, you've got Alex Lynn as well. So I think there's a real chance Da Costa doesn't make it through to Super Pole, which would kind of just be not like normal. You know, it was all the chances of him getting through to 2 Super Poles from Group 1 was so slim, but he was just bossing it on the reverse track. Now it's still good, don't get me wrong, but not quite there. Here's a replay of Alex Sims, and are we going to have a little wall brush? Oh, just a lot of curb.
Yeah, a lot of curb, but watch what it does to an exit jack. The car is still bouncing, not rotating, not turning as well as he would like. Watch for the snap of oversteer if it is, but he's offline. So yeah, that maybe compromised him a little bit. 10th quickest out of the 12 cars that have run so far. Yeah, I'm looking for the next 2 groups. I'm looking for the person you'd say, oh, you know, yeah, I mean, Daniel Abt probably in the Neo, James Collado possibly, but he put in a decent lap this morning early. You know, it's such a strong field, yeah. Da Costa could be out of Super Pole. And here's one of the men that could definitely do it.
6 minutes left on the clock when the clock starts, and that is Robin Freitz, who got into Super Pole yesterday. Bird telling me earlier on his way to the toilet that they don't think that, you know, they're looking for a top 10 qualifying, and from there they can race. They haven't got the fastest car, and I think that's true of Envision this year. The last couple of years they've had a car that can properly fight at the front. I think this year it is missing something. There's Nick De Vries about to go out onto the circuit as well. He's qualified well. He's made Super Pole the last 2 races, and he's straight out. Light goes green, straight out. That's interesting. Why wouldn't, I guess, so my question is now, why wouldn't you go straight out?
Because when you start your lap, the other people are heading out to do their, they might be heading out to do the start of the preparation lap, unless he gets so far round
he's so far ahead that that's the only way, because this puts a lot of chance of that happening. It's a gamble. I'm not sure I would take in that gamble, Jack.
But if he goes out and push, he'll be back in the pits before any of the others leave.
That's what you've got to hope. But if somebody decides, oh, I'm going to go with 3 minutes to go, you've just increased the chances of compromising your own qualifying lap, and they might have a reason that we don't understand, which probably yes, because a lot smarter people in the Mercedes garage than I am.
Theo Spencer corrects my French. Apparently it's ne m'oubliez pas.
I thought it was a valiant try.
I think I was close, but I don't know. I don't know why I tried. I think that's the.
I was impressed you tried. Yeah.
Thank you. Merci. Oh, my big boss has just come in and is getting cross at me because he speaks French. So there we go. He's saying, "What are you doing? Qu'est-ce que tu fais?" Right. 5 minutes left on the clock, and Jean-Eric Verne is quickest at the moment. Van Dorn, Gunter, Lotterer, De Coster, and Roland, the top 6. D'Ambrosio impressive this morning.
Yeah, D'Ambrosio quickest of anybody in the Mahindra this morning. Can he do it when it counts? That's the same situation for anybody that's quick in practice. It's like, okay, you've got to do it now, when the pressure's on, when the track temperature's up. And let's see what De Vries can do. He is going for it. He's turned it up. And he's got to have seen the job that his teammate has done. Stoffel van Dorn P2 right now.
Do you think they have any worry in Q3 that it's going to get too hot out there, or that the track improvements of another kind of 5 cars out there won't outweigh just doing your thing by yourself alone?
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, Jack, absolutely. A normal track would say this is madness. But with this track, no. I'm just concerned about the possibility of traffic interfering. Let's see how he gets on over the bumps into 6.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Well, it's a reasonable first sector, couple of tenths away. Obviously now it's impossible to get any traffic because no one else has left the pit lane, so he'll be clear till the end of the lap. Let's see what he's got in the middle sector. Although, as I say that, there's Felipe Massa. All right, Dario, point taken. And it's a good middle sector.
I think De Vries brushed the wall. I think he's been using all the track all day, and I think he's brushed the wall.
But he is only a couple of tenths away from Jean-Eric Verne after the first 2 corners. Eventually got it into turn 10, out across the line. This is going to be good, I think, from Nick De Vries. Is it enough to put him in Superpole and push Roland out? Yes, it is. 5th place for Nick De Vries. De Coster now down to 6th. So he is in big trouble in Superpole. This was him coming out of the...
Turn 6.
Oh,
wow,
that's weird.
That's a big, yeah, he's trying to open up the wheel out of turn 5 to get the car to accelerate. Accelerates quicker when the wheel's straight, Jack. No, but you're trying to just wind it off there, and he's just got too close. We said it this morning, he's so close to the wall. You saw the sparks. Hopefully he hasn't damaged the wheel. Massa is on a lap. Let's see how Massa gets on. He's going through the same area now. Turn 5 gives the wall a nice wide berth. Massa has a really tough time here in Berlin.
And his first sector is 2 tenths slower than anyone else. So that's going to be a tough one for Massa. He's coming now through turn 6, up into 7, the left-hander, and then into 8, the right-hander. And we'll get his middle sector split here. He's half a second down. He does the fastest middle sector of anyone. Felipe!
He nailed that one, didn't he? I was going to say it looks good, it looks quick. Let's see what he can do through this last hairpin, turn 10. Can he look at just catching a bit of oversteer on the brakes? Got to the apex. Put the power down ever so well. That Rocket Venturi looked very good on power down. Where does it put him?
Felipe Massa across the line, and it's 9th place. So ahead of his teammate Mortara. His first sector was 3 tenths slower than anyone else. If he'd got those 3 tenths, he'd have been in Superpole. Here's Daniel Abt in the Neo.
Daniel Abt has he's been a bit overshadowed. He's a past winner here, past pole position sitter, but he's been a bit overshadowed by Oliver Turvey, his teammate so far in the Neo, his new teammate. Heavy on the brakes, but it is good to see Daniel Abt still in Formula E.
He's about 6 tenths or so away after the first 2 sectors. So the Neo's very much bringing up the rear of the field, as they have been all year. Back on the power.
The car looks very harsh on the bumps. You watch how much it's moving him around when he's hitting those bumps. It looks almost like a very stiff setup. And whatever it is, it's not working for them. Slowest of all, P15 for Daniel Abt.
A minute left on the clock. Jean-Eric Verne has changed his helmet back for these races, and now he's back top of the times. Was wearing a Fabien Pochet tribute helmet. Oh, D'Ambrosio super late. The rear looked so loose going into turn 1, but he got it in there in the end. Abt slowest at the moment.
You have to say that Mahindra rotated ever so well through turns 2 and 3. He was really able to turn, not struggling with understeer, back to throttle. That looks like a good first sector, Jack.
Here he comes, and it is good. It's not amazing, but it is up there with some of the best. Maybe a 10th off Vern and Van Dorn in Sector 1.
Neat tidy out of turn 6, setting up for 7. Oh, using a bit of curb. We've seen people using much more curb there than in the reverse direction track.
Middle sector's good as well for D'Ambrosio. Antonio Felix da Costa, the championship leader, is not going to be progressing through to Super Bowl here if D'Ambrosio hooks up turn 10.
D'Ambrosio was quick through the final sector this morning. That was where he seemed to gain his advantage. Can he do it again now?
Here he comes, out across the line. If he goes into the top 6, da Costa is out of Super Pole, and he does. It's third place for Jerome D'Ambrosio. James Collado, we're on board with him here. He is just coming out of the final corner. Robin Freitz has done a rapid Sector 1. Collado goes 14th, out-qualifying his teammate Mitch Evans, I believe, for the first time. But Robin Freitz is super quick.
And super late on the brakes into turn 9.
This is going to be a good one here from the Dutchman. Turned 29 yesterday. Oh, and he's locked up both fronts.
Still got it to the apex though, Jack.
Was really struggling in free practice earlier on with locking. Still gets it done. Can he go to the top of the groups? Can he get into Super Pole? No and yes is the answer there. He goes up into third place, a 10th of a second away, but that should book him a place in Super Bowl.
Good lap, mate. Good lap. P3, power 7, cool down lap, watch your brake integral,
This is a bit more like a Super Bowl, a qualifying session, is it? Everyone's a bit random, Group 1's not, although, having said that, Stoffel Van Dorn's done a great job. Robin Freitz there in Group 3. We've got 2 drivers from Group 3 in Super Pole as it stands, 3 from Group 2. Will we see Turvey Sete Camera? Turvey? I gave him, now he's moved to Monaco, he's a Turvey. But yeah, Freitz, I thought Freitz was heading off into the scenery for that one.
Especially as Robert knows the track is, Jack, when you get off the dark part of the track, there's not a lot of grip, so well done to Robin Freitz for keeping that all together.
Oliver Rowland.
It's a great shot of the diffuser. The back of the car generates the downforce from the underbody of the car. Look how big it is. And it's very rare actually to see a Formula E race finish without those being damaged.
Well, here is a look at the qualifying with 6 drivers still to go. Vern, Van Dorn, Freitz, D'Ambrosio, Gunter and Lotterer. The top 6 as it stands. Eliminated De Vries, da Costa, the highest still starred, is 8th on the grid. Rowland in 9th, De Grassi in 10th. Massa and Mortara the top 12. And then we've got Buemi, Sims, Collado, Evans. What a horrible weekend this is turning in for Jaguar. So, 6 more drivers to come. Turvey, Camera, Muller, Jani, Rast and Lynn. Let's go to Nikki.
Thanks very much. Now, there were high hopes for the Panasonic Jaguar Racing team ahead of this season finale, but Mitch Evans talked to us because there was so much pace with the car at the start of the season, but you've really struggled to find it here in Berlin. Why is that?
Yeah, we're not really sure. We've been doing all we can to try and find solutions, and you know, we've been pushing forward to try and find answers for these last races, but it just hasn't materialized today in qualifying. I had a better feeling in practice, so we had high hopes. But yeah, we've seemed to have lost something, or just yeah, the window, operating window is just a little bit too small for us at the moment. We can find it some laps, but not all the time. So yeah, obviously very frustrating. But I was happy with the lap. It was all smooth, clean, and I was expecting to be a lot closer to the front. So yeah, that's a shame.
All right, well, good luck for clawing it back in the race. Thanks very much, Mitch Evans. Let's go to Vernon, who's with Jean-Eric Verne.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. I am with Jean-Eric Verne. Jev, it's not gone up to this moment in time as we expected for yourself. However, has normal service resumed for Jean-Eric Verne?
Yeah, I surely hope so. It's fair to say that the first 2 races here have been a complete nightmare, and you know, when there is a little something going wrong and then there is another one, and all of a sudden everything starts to go wrong in the same time, and that's what happened to me. So it's quite hard, of course, mentally, because I know the car is fantastic. I mean, we saw it with Antonio. So yeah, it was important yesterday to try and reset and come here as fresh as possible. knowing that, yeah, for sure the championship this year is gone, but it's okay, I can't win every year. I have to improve myself. Antonio has been doing a fantastic job, and the only thing I can do right now is try and help him to win the championship, and also to win the Constructor Championship with DS Techeetah, and also to get back to where I should be, and I think today was already much better. It's just that this year with this new car I haven't felt very comfortable, especially on the braking, but you know, things are starting to get back a bit to normal.
And you've changed your helmet for today, for these two races?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess every racing driver is a little bit superstitious, so I had to try something, you know, either underwear, socks, or helmet.
We'll hold right there. Jeff, it's nice to see you at the top.
you.
Good luck in Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Well, we will. We'll discuss that in a moment with Jean-Eric Vergne. Robin Freit's just coming back into the pit lane, having made it through to Super Pole. 4.5 minutes left. The last 6 to go out on track in Group 4 of qualifying. Jean-Eric Vergne has changed his helmet back from the one he was wearing the last 2 races for superstitious reasons, Dario.
Yeah, drivers tend to be superstitious, apparently, Jack.
Have I asked you about your superstitions? I can't. You weren't like mad though.
Well, I wasn't one of those "don't touch me when I've got in the car" type people. I know those ones. So if you touched them and they had to get back out, so of course you would go up and touch them.
Lucky pants?
No, not lucky pants. David Coulthard had lucky pants up until he broke his leg at Spa. I had things like if a helmet, if it won a race, apart from Indy helmets went away if they won it. Otherwise, if it won a race, I'd use it again. If it didn't, if it was an unlucky helmet, straight into the collection.
But you kept them, you didn't like
I kept
them?
Yeah, and I would wear the same watch for the whole season, the same shoes.
Same watch?
The same watch. Stuff. Yes.
But presumably you take your watch off when you drive the car?
Yeah, absolutely. But it was in the same shoes at the track for the whole season. And it's not rational. I understand this is not rational.
It's curious. Would you get in the car from the same side?
Always the left side.
And a lot of drivers had issue with that in Formula E. Do you remember when there were car swaps?
Yes.
Because they had to get in from the right side or whichever way round the car was parked.
Yeah.
And they really struggled with that.
I would have. I struggled driving the sports car when it was a right-hand drive.
Really? You have to climb over the passenger seat?
I did ask and they told me to go away.
David Coulthard's lucky pants. That is not somewhere you want to be.
Yeah.
Jean-Eric Vergne.
Any superstitions, Jack?
No, I don't think I do. When I started commentary, I used to like taking my shoes off to do a commentary.
Thank God you've got over that one.
Well, this is the thing. Alan McNish would complain about my smelly feet, so I couldn't do it anymore. It's a real. I feel more comfortable commentating with my shoes off because it just makes me a bit more relaxed and blah blah blah. But McNish would come in. Put your shoes back on.
I've never been happy for a COVID mask until now.
2.5 minutes left on the clock. Hopefully someone will head out so we stop talking about my feet. And
there we go.
Neil Jarni out on circuit in the Porsche, still looking for his first points of the season.
And Neil Jarni looked good this morning early in the practice session. It didn't all come together though. But Sergio Setticamera, 7th quickest. Can he put it together? He was quick in practice yesterday. Can he get everything together today to get him right up the front in qualifying?
The Brazilian racing for Geox Dragon, replacing Brendan Hartley, who left the team a couple of months ago. Might not even been that long ago, maybe a month or so ago. It was quite a recent development. Setticamera got on the plane from Silverstone on Sunday night, where he'd been the Red Bull reserve, and then was here, obviously Sunday night, and in the car. Vergne quickest at the moment is Oliver Turvey, went 15th quickest in the first race here in Berlin, which was mightily impressive. And he's got it. If he can out-qualify his teammate Abt, he could get in there with your Evanses and your Colados of this world, but it's so tight. 7/10 only down to 18th place.
Absolutely, and he was quite happy when when I spoke to him yesterday and said, you know, well done, good job in that, and he sort of a wry smile. And Setticamera gone straight away, of course, up to full power, 250 kilowatts on the limits. Look at him just turning to the right, catching the slide. Looked not too bad, you know, playing with the throttle, trying to keep the momentum up. That corner, you're just in it forever. Nice and neat through 3. Turn 3, it looks like it's got a lot of grip today. Is he using the curb in 4? Yes. Gets the car rotated. Big snap of oversteer though. through the now corner of turn 5. I used to call it a kink. Now it's causing problems today. Heavy braking into 6 over those bumps.
Through the left-hander. Now into 7. We'll get his middle sector split in a moment. Kelly McNish says, excellent impression of my husband. You're welcome.
Oh, again, camera in turn 9. We saw this morning. A lot of people, including him, fighting with the rear.
His first 2 sectors were okay, but it's overall been a little scruffy for the Brazilian. Gets on the power out of the final corner.
Yeah, we got the car straight, Jack. He might not have been the earliest to the throttle, but he was able to go after the throttle fairly hard because the car was straight. P11.
Good. Not too bad at all for Sergio Sette Camara there. Getting ahead of Felipe Massa and Eduardo Mortara. Nico Muller's done a reasonable first sector, actually. Quicker than Sette Camara, but he's lost time in sector 2. Gianni goes 17th. Alex Lynn, very quick in sector 1. There is...
Here's Nico Muller coming to the line.
Muller is going to go... Oh, 21st.
There's a mistake there. Let's see what Turvey can do as he rounds the last corner.
Turvey's first 2 sectors have not been great, to be perfectly honest with you. Can he out-qualify his teammate Daniel Abt? No, he can't. Remains in 22nd place, so that's good work from Abt. Here comes René Rast across the line. The German goes only 20th place, but here's Alex Lynn. Good first sector, good second sector. He's on for Superpole. If he hooks it all up, it'll be Lotterer or Lynn in Superpole. And it's Lynn, 3rd quickest.
Another fantastic job from Alex Lynn in qualifying. Did the same yesterday.
Good job, mate. Good job. Out mode. That's P3, mate. P3, out mode. Cool everything, mate. Cool brakes, cool tires. Watch your P-brake. No limit on how slow you can be on the in-lap.
You mean in mode, right?
Yeah, in mode. In mode.
Both Mahindras in Superpole. Very impressive.
I think Dilbag Gill will be staying at the hotel more often.
I think he might.
Wow. So great performance from Mahindra. They're the only team with 2 cars in Superpole. And that equals, for Sergio Sette Camara, Geox Dragon's best qualifying result of the season. A 12th place in Marrakesh for Brendan Hartley. No, my apologies, Mexico City, it was 7th on the grid for... so they're 2nd best of the season. Nevertheless, impressive stuff from Sette Camara. So Vern van Dorn, Lynn, Freitz, D'Ambrosio and Gunter, the 6 drivers progressing through to Superpole. Lotterer will start 7th on the grid. Nick de Vries will start 8th. Antonio Felix da Costa, only 9th on the grid. Van Dorn starting 2nd on the grid. Is it coming back?
But da Costa's in that part of the field now where the action happens and the accidents happen on lap 1.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. Felipe Massa 13th, Buemi down in 15th place for Nissan. Really struggling for him. Yeah, Buemi a long way down, considering he was quickest in the groups yesterday. He's now been shuffled all the way down the order. Let's go down to Nicky Shields.
Well, one man who is very happy, of course, is Jerome D'Ambrosio. And Jerome, let's talk about this. Mahindra, both of you in Superpole. Where have you found this extra pace from?
Well, I think it's just a good balance, a good car. We've been working fairly well over the last few months, and yeah, we have a good pace.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Okay. Quick and short and to the point from Jerome D'Ambrosio, but I guess he has got to go out. We're halfway around Alex Lynn's quick lap here.
Yeah, this is like one of the critical points in the lap as he brakes heavily over those bumps. Oh, yeah, very nice. Just you can see, snap of oversteer. Quick hands to catch that oversteer. See how much Kirby uses. Turn 6. Very neat and tidy. How aggressive is he going to be on the brakes? Easy to make a mistake at this point. We've seen a lot of people lose the rear right now. No. Nice bit of understeer and also good power down from the Mahindra. And let's see, coming up for 10. We saw Robin Freitz make a mistake there. Lynn gets to the apex. Lovely application of throttle. And at this point, you're willing the car to the line. He's so close. There you are, P3.
So, Alex Lynn, that's 2 Superpoles in 3 races for Lin. Interested to see what he could do in a race, because they slipped back, he missed attack mode, but both Mahindras were kind of falling back through the pack. Can they get on top of those efficiency issues, let's say? There is Jerome D'Ambrosio in the other Mahindra, quickest in free practice earlier on. Gets it straight nice and easily, almost coming out of that left-hander.
Yeah, the good news is for the Mahindra guys, the car's quick, and so that helps you make it more efficient. And they're obviously learning day by day. They're making things better. There's Robin Freins. Look at the roll in the car. And you're going to see this snap of oversteer now from Robin. Actually not. Very neat and tidy for Robin Freins.
There is Alex Lin.
Are you sure? Yeah. We do it again out there, no? Yeah. It's the phone for the hand. Ah, okay.
You see, this is the thing. His third race.
Yeah.
For the teams, just getting used to all the new team, what they do, what the rules are.
And so I think it sounded like he's saying, you're strapping me in here, but I'll get out again when we go back to the garage, and then go out again, right? Max Günther getting ready to head out. Max Günther will be first out in Superpole in the BMW I. Andretti, D'Ambrosio, Freins, Lin, Van Dorn and Verne will be the 6 drivers competing for pole position here in ABB Formula E. Fasten seatbelts, switch to P2, and away you go is the message to Alex Lin. So we've got Jean-Eric Verne, 10 career pole positions, the second most successful Formula E qualifier. Stoffel Van Dorn, 1 pole position last year in Hong Kong. Alex Lin, 1 pole position a couple of years ago in New York City. Robin Freins, no pole positions for the Dutchman. A front row start, again in New York City, was his best. Jerome D'Ambrosio's had a couple of pole positions, 2, but not since his Dragon days. And Max Günther for BMW has not had a pole position either. 2 front row starts for Günther, but no poles. So Freins and Günther looking for their maiden pole, Verne looking for his millionth, and Van Dorn and D'Ambrosio looking for their 2nd and 3rd respectively.
For Jean-Eric Verne, he's got to just be honest and thinking now, Jack. It's maybe not a big thing in the big scheme of things, but he said, I'm quicker than my teammate. I'm in Superpole. This is good. I'm on, things are getting better here. I don't think you can underestimate how big an effect that will have on him for today, tomorrow, and the races later in the next week.
Would it be weird sitting in your car facing backwards in the garage, or am I looking too much into the minutiae here? It must just feel a bit weird.
Yeah, I would imagine it does, because you're used to looking out of the garage. It'd be quite nice actually, because you're not looking at a bunch of TV cameras facing you and people walking past, sort of staring.
Oh, this is cool. This is super cool.
Putting the gloves on. I would always put my left glove on first too.
Oh, really?
Left glove and then right. And you see D'Ambrosio making sure they're comfortable, the old Alpine Stars gloves.
Really putting them on tight, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually more just getting all the wrinkles out. That's the thing that annoys you more than anything. Getting ready to do what he does. And of course, the tyres will be hot from those that qualifying lap earlier. They won't have a chance to really cool down much, or the tyre temperature pressure has been changed, so it's going to feel a lot different.
So Van Dorn, I'm really loving driver's eye on like the game. It feels like you're like in the car, like. I don't know when driver's eye you feel like you're in the car when you're driving, but that kind of real stuff it's like you're in a computer game.
When he takes off when he take the tear-off visor.
Yeah.
So the visor has lots of little film across it that you can take off and tear off one at a time if you're clever. If you're not smart, you sometimes pull the whole lot off at once.
Have you done that?
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you do it at the start of a 500-mile race. That's awesome.
Have you done it at the start of Indy?
Oh, yeah. Although I have, one of the winning helmets has 7 of the 10 still on.
Wow.
I don't know what was
7
going
of the 10?
I don't know what was going on that day. But yeah, you see, I love that. You see Günther just pulling the tear off just to get a clear view. It's just, it might be one dead fly on the visor or something, or a smudge. You see Sergio Setti Camera just fist bump with the guys. And I think Dominic Harlow is in the garage at Jeux Dragon. Ex Force India, Williams, smart guy. I think I saw him in the Jeux Dragon garage.
Kate asks who has the most Formula E pole positions. The answer is Sebastian Buemi with 14. So Verne is second with 9. Gunter has 0. Here he comes out onto track. It'll be an out lap, then a full-speed flying lap. 6 drivers, 1 pole position, 3 points up for grabs.
Nice and easy on these tires.
Can you see how slow he was going? They're just trying not to put any stress through the tyre, just run it to cool the tyre as much as possible.
How much can you get away with that and then not, you know, not get brake pressure? Or can you drive that slowly and be on the brakes as well to warm up the brakes, or do you not want to warm up the brakes because they'll warm up the tyres?
The brakes are precisely right. The brakes are still hot as well, Jack, and he'll have he's doing exactly what I thought. He'll brake heavily into turn 5.
The temperature, it's not easy.
Brake into turn 6, sorry. Brake into turn 9. Brake into turn 10. Brakes will be nice and warm. And of course you've got the engineers nagging at you, telling you what to do as well, which is really helpful, honestly, because you've got that view, that driver's eye view through that post box. That's what you've really got. And the engineers have got a much more global view of what's going on.
Through the right-hander of turn 9, Max Gunter winding it up.
And his lap is going to start on that first throttle application out of turn 10. That's going to dictate his speed across the start line. Nice and neat. Look how well the car put the power down. Right at the last moment, there was a little slide. Let's see what it does at the end of this qualifying lap and see how it's handling in comparison.
So Gunter charging down into the first corner. A championship contender in the early stages. He's now down in 9th position. After 2nd place in Marrakesh, he was looking like he was in the mix. Took his first win in Santiago earlier this year, 22 years old and 200 days when he stood on the top step in South America in conditions not that much colder than this. And his first sector's good.
Oh, that is strong, Jack.
By the radar tower, turns left into 6 now it is.
Nailed the apex, but yeah, look, rear tyres are going away. 2 catches of oversteer, and the next 2 corners to go through the kinks, and then there's 2 hairpins to finish the lap, and that torches the rear tyre on power down. But we've seen people lose the rear in the middle. How is the 2nd sector, Jack?
It's not bad. It's not absolutely super, but it isn't bad. And are we going to see lap times as quick as the group qualifying? I think we might not in these conditions. And there, the back's leaning.
And it broke away earlier, so that shows you what everybody else is facing with these rear tyres going as he comes to the line.
Still a 1 minute 6.772. That's a solid lap for Max Gunter. It's difficult to know because obviously there's no benchmark, but it's okay. Solid. Good. I would say good, actually. Good.
Better than the last 2 days here in Berlin for Roger Griffiths and the BMW Andretti team, I would say. Here we go, the super slow-mo. Really using the big curve, the white part of the curve. That look at the front bouncing, trying to recover. Look at it juddering as well with the understeer. So I think there's time to be had. I think a perfect lap. There's a lot more time in this circuit just now. Easy for me to say, sitting here next to you, Jack.
Max Gunter today in the German daily newspaper, the Morgenpost, called Max Gunter Elektro-Schumi, which is quite the praise. Thanks to Bjorn Hesse for pointing that out.
That is praise indeed.
Elektro-Schumi. Sounds like I can't quite think what an Elektro-Schumi might have.
Sounds like a band. Sounds like something Vernon would listen to.
Here comes Jerome D'Ambrosio across the line down towards turn 1. It sounds like something Vernon would play, that's for sure. Here he comes into the first corner then, looking for his 3rd pole position. And now looping around 1 and 2.
Neat and tidy so far, I have to say, Jack, through turn 1. Whether it's quick or not, I don't know, but it was neat. D'Ambrosio comes through 4th, coming to the first split now. How is it? 10th and a half down on Max Gunter.
But if he can keep it all under control to the final sector, I think there might be time to be gained. Here he comes into turn 6 now.
You saw the rubber flying off the tyres in the braking zone. We're going to see a lot of that this afternoon in the race. I thought that was pretty good through 7.
What's the middle sector say? Comes across the line now. It's quicker than Gunter. So he's closed in a little. He's still a 10th and a half away, but D'Ambrosio has been so strong in the final sector.
Yeah, looked really good through turn 9 and off of turn 9, equally as importantly. Remember, Gunter had the snap of oversteer late.
Oh, it's neater from D'Ambrosio. Drives to the line, might be able to usurp Gunter here for provisional pole position. Can't. Half a tenth of a second, so he gained a 10th in sector 3. but it wasn't enough to make up for a tricky sector 1 for Jerome D'Ambrosio. So Gunter still on provisional pole, D'Ambrosio second, 4 to run. Next up will be Robin Freitz. Took pole position in the DTM last weekend in Spa. There is D'Ambrosio. This was him in the first sector.
That looked very good through there. He almost looked a little bit, I'd say turn 1. Exit of 1 was, or the second half of 1, shall we say, going into 2 was where he was a bit slow. The super slow-mo there, I thought that looked nice. Braking for 6. Very good through there. Got close to the wall. Mahindra put the power down very well. The driver did a good job.
Jean-Eric Verne lowering himself into the car. Ready to go. Robin Freitz, meanwhile, is coming through the final couple of corners. Turns it up to full power.
The good news for these guys, especially guys like Jean-Eric Verne, they're going to take some risks. The worst he can qualify is 6th.
Yeah.
Here, Robin Freitz, that noise, that's him overlapping, braking throttle, trying to build brake temperature in the last part of the lap and not build tyre temperature. Tricky thing to do.
Across the line for Freitz, down in towards turn 1. Turns it in very aggressively.
Yeah, and he lost the rear a bit, and you saw him had to steer out and go a little bit wide. That might cost him, but he looked like he carried good momentum through the second part of the corner.
A little bit wide, maybe at 3, sorry. Now out of turn 4, we'll get his first sector split. 23.194 is the time to beat. 23.3, so he's beaten D'Ambrosio in sector 1 at least.
And it wasn't a great sector for Robin Freitz, so let's see what he does there. Very good through 6, Jack. Back to throttle. We're using all the road right up against the wall.
Oh, twitch into 7, back end nearly goes.
Yeah, and he lost the apex because of that, so he wouldn't have been able to carry the momentum through the corner.
He's still done a quick middle sector. Now it's all over the place here, Freitz. Big opposite lockdown of the hairpin. I think this is pretty certain to be 3rd quickest, because it has been a wee bit scruffy.
Yeah, and that's just the tyres overheating now and sliding about, and the driver trying to carry all that momentum.
Across the line, and Freitz goes 3rd. Lost, 4 tenths in the final sector there. The order for Superpole is the reverse order of the times they qualified in. So 6th quickest goes out first, then 5th. There was Freitz. He had the twitch, but he also had the twitch on the way in.
That's 10 out of 10 for style.
Yeah.
The lap time wasn't great, but the style was good. But then look at that. Lost the rear early. We saw that this morning again. Trying to run the car as open as you possibly can through the middle of the corner to get it to turn. But that's the downside, is it? Sometimes you just go too far, especially when the rear tyres are as hot as they are. Look at the car turning itself once he's got the steering straight. Coming through the the left-hand portion, sorry.
Freitz on the radio said, what a rubbish lap that was.
Wow.
So that sums it up. And very amusing tweet here just quickly from Alex Lassard saying, Electro Shumi makes me wonder who is Dubstep Barrichello. So I think I can't imagine Alex Sims being Dubstep Barrichello.
No.
Imagine Alex Sims being into a bit of dubstep. Here comes Alex Lynn across the line. No idea on his music taste, but he's a quick racing driver down towards the first corner.
And again, it's that finding the limit. Don't let the ambition overtake the grip available. Neat there, but lost a little bit through the exit. Can he get it rotated because he's a little bit offline? Yes. But is it quick? It looks good. Again, style points, but the stopwatch is what it's all about. A little bit wide, off of 4.
First sector split coming up.
Oh, 2 tenths down.
Yeah.
Gunter's first split was mighty.
Yeah, because he's not too far off D'Ambrosio, his teammate in sector 1. He's quicker than Robin Freitz, but it's just Gunter's first sector that was rapid, but equally is, so much curve into 7.
But now Alex Lynn's going to see that on his delta, on his steering wheel, and he's going to be pushing quickest of anybody through sector 2 though, and walks it in. Oh, but he upset himself. He used too much curb in turn 9. Has that hurt the lap? You saw it jump the car out to the outside of the corner, Jack. As he, another snap of oversteer. Does it go on the lovely on the throttle though, as he races to the line.
Here comes Alex Lynn. Can he get on the provisional front row? No, he can't. 3 tenths away from his teammate Jerome D'Ambrosio in the end. 3 tenths slower in the final sector with that moment down at turn 9. So not at fastest middle sector for Lynn, but didn't all quite come together.
Yeah, it's lovely here, Jack. Just turn 9, use too much curb, and I mean, I'm talking millimeters out of line. You'll see how much curb he used in 7, which was great. Look at this, right up. Oh, that was fantastic through there. Maximum commitment. Just used a little bit too much. Here we go, we're going to see it. And just watch, he just touches the white bit, and it just knocks him wide, and he can't quite get back to the throttle as he would like.
He apologised to the team on the radio for that lap, Alex Lynn, but still getting into Superpole. The worst he'll start is 5th. 2 left to run. Jean-Eric Verne.
You must be warm as well, right? Say again, for you it must be warm as well. Oh.
Nice little bit of chat about the weather. What else is there to do? But here comes Stoffel van Dorn then, out of the final corner now. Full power across the line down towards turn 1. Just him and Jean-Eric Verne to go.
Gets into the apex. Yeah, not too bad. Look at him crossing his hands over to get all the lock necessary to go through this tight series of the first 3 corners. Heavy braking again.
Looked pretty good, that first sector.
Yeah, it did look good. It looks quick from the driver's eye. How does it compare?
Decent. Yeah. Closest that anyone's managed to get to Max Günther, just 300ths away.
Oh, you heard the rears locking. Did he get to the apex? I think he missed it. I think he missed it, but I don't know if it cost him any time. We'll soon find out.
Into 7. Here comes the middle sector split for Stoffel van Dorn. He's lost a 10th. He's just over a 10th of a second away, but there is time to be found on Günther in the final sector because D'Ambrosio went to 10th quicker.
Rushed the wall at 9.
Final corner of turn 10 on the power for Van Dorn. Big slide, comes across the line. I don't think it's going to be enough for provisional pole. It may well be front row though. It's not, it's 3rd. 3rd for Stoffel van Dorn in the Mercedes. So Günther guaranteed a front row start. Can he secure his first Formula E pole position, or will Jean-Eric Verne take pole? Saskia Stewart says, and I don't know if she knows this, or his Vandal's ready.
Sorry guys.
We didn't see that bit.
Not a great lap, but a bit too much oversteer there.
That would be why you missed the apex in 6.
Yes, exactly. We were on driver's eye at the moment, weren't we? But
it just shows how difficult it is to see lockups for the driver.
Apparently Alex Lynn is into Dutch electro house DJ Oliver Heldens. Did you know that? I don't know. That's according to Saskia Stewart on the Twitter. So
I think that might be made up.
I don't know. I'm going to Google Oliver Heldens.
Oh, yeah, look, a bit wide for Stoffel van Dorn again out of 4 yet. Not his best lap ever, but yeah, worst he's going to start is 4th. It's good to see him back on form. Let's see how much form this man here has got. Double reigning champion, Jean-Eric Verne.
Is he in for a redemption story in the final 4 races of the season? The back end all over the place as he turns in, but just cruises round to the apex.
Yeah, at a high rate of knots. That was a beautiful turn 1. Beautiful turn 2 and 3. I think the other 5 are getting nervous at this point. That was lovely.
Verne on the power.
Oh dear. That looks good.
First sector. Oh, it's a 10th and a half up on Günther. Massive first sector from Jean-Eric Verne.
And he'll know that. Like I said, look at it on the bumps though. Don't overdo it. But oh dear, yeah, that looks very, very good for Jean-Eric Verne. How aggressive is he? No, you see him flick it sideways at the end of turn 7.
After the middle sector, he's 3/10 up. This is ginormous. Jean-Eric Verne, after a tricky season, a very difficult first 2 days in Berlin.
Turn 9 was a bit average. What does he do in 10? Got it to the apex well.
Out they come through the final corner and across the line. What is Jean-Eric Verne going to do here? Surely it's pole position by the cool half a second.
Half a second.
Yes, by half a second. Well done. FP2, box face lap, no crossing, use your region. You follow marshal sign. Thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye.
Wow. Jean-Eric Verne then. That's a cheater. I mean, for me, it's the best car this year. And I say that for me as if that's some kind of controversial opinion, but
unusually for you, Jack, that's not a controversial opinion. Let's have a look as he breaks for 5. Look at it bouncing. I mean, it's hitting the ground hard. but he's just able to keep the fronts on the edge of locking. Watch how early he winds off the lock as he goes to the throttle.
He was so much quicker. It wasn't that he hooked, right. It wasn't that he just like hooked up the lap so it was all okay. First sector, a 10th and a half quicker than anyone else. The second sector, he did a 20.6. Every other driver did a 20.8. Van Dorn did a 20.9. The final sector, he did a 22.5. Every other driver was at a 6 for D'Ambrosio, 7 for Gunter, 8 for Van Dorn, 9 for Lynn, 9 for Freitz.
By all accounts, before he crossed the line, he said, "That's pole, baby."
Really?
On the radio, that's feedback we're getting.
Wow. Well, let's look at the results then after Super Pole. Jean-Eric Verne, quickest, a 1:06.277. That is his 10th pole position in his Formula E career. The Frenchman from, my apologies, his 11th pole position in his Formula E career. Max Gunter in second place, his third front row start. Jerome D'Ambrosio and Stoffel Van Dorn, 2 Belgians on the second row. Don't know if we've had an all-Belgian second row before. Why would I know that? Felipe Massa is 13th on the grid, but look how tight it is. Well, but those are all from the 7th place times. But Buemi down in 15th position. Jaguar having a horrible time in Berlin. But Jean-Eric Verne absolutely bossing it in that qualifying session. Starting third on the grid, though, is going to be the first of the Mahindras. Nikki Shields.
Well, Jerome D'Ambrosio, this is clearly the start of new beginnings for Mahindra. Incredible pace today.
Yeah, we've been fast all day, and yeah, we feel very comfortable with the car. So that's been good. I think the first race here on the reverse grid was great as well. We just had an issue in race number 2 of the Berlin Marathon, but we're back on it, and the car feels great. So really looking forward to the race. It's really tight, so it's going to be a hard-fought one again.
You had your first win here, though, so you know the chance of doing it again. Is that possible?
Well, everything's possible. It's Formula E. Look, we need to focus on the race pace. We need to try to put it together, and then then we'll see.
And also, you've got your new teammate Alex Lynn not far behind. Is that going to help?
Ask him. Are you going to help? No.
He's saying yes, mate.
No. I think it's good. It's good, to be actually 2 teammates in the front, and hopefully, because in the beginning it can get quite hectic with the energy management. So, yeah, I guess it's not a bad thing.
Absolutely, and I'm sure your team principal Dilbert Gill is very happy right now. Thanks.
Thank you.
Jean-Eric Verne then, pole position for the DS Techeetah team. Did he say number 1 in that little gif? I think he does. 2-time champion. Won't be champion this year, but with a performance like that, he is going to very much help the DS Techeetah team to the team's title, isn't he? Second place on the grid is Maximilian Gunter. Let's hear from him now, his 3rd front row start.
Well, Max Gunter, having had no points in the last doubleheader, I think things are really turning around for you.
Definitely. I think it's good for all of us to finally have a good qualifying after we struggled in the first 2 rounds, after having good practice sessions, but then we couldn't deliver it into the qualifying. Things didn't work together, but today I feel like we did a good job. Everything worked well together, had a good confidence in the car, and yeah, I'm really happy for the boys and myself to be now in this front row.
As well as in the fight for the Drivers' Championship, obviously we've got the Teams' Championship with BMW at 2nd at the moment, so these points are going to be really valuable.
I mean, so far there is no points gained, so it's just a good starting order, but yeah, as well, in terms of championship standing, it's too early to think about all this. We just need to focus on extracting all on this day and then take it step by step, and then we see where everything ends up.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Max Gunter starting 2nd. Apparently earlier on I started to say Jean-Eric Verne, the Frenchman from, and then tailed off, so apologies for that. It was from Pontoise, just outside of Paris, the Parisian. His win in Paris a couple of years ago was a real highlight of Formula E. It's always good when home people win at home, isn't it? Let's hear now, though, from our poleman from Pontoise.
Well, Jean-Eric Verne, got to say, half a second. I mean, that lap was absolutely phenomenal. You're back.
Yeah, I am. It's funny in this championship how you can go from 0 to hero. I mean, I have the same car, Obviously, when there is a little thing that goes wrong and the other thing goes wrong as well, it's just becoming a nightmare. So I think today was very important on the side of my garage to not do any mistakes and do the simple things we know works, and it worked today. So I'm very pleased with that result. Now we need to transform it in the race into a good result.
And what has changed? Because I know you were puzzled, you were questioned, you didn't know what the reason was, and now you found the pace back. Why?
I had an amazing massage yesterday, and I feel like a new man.
Well, you did say that it was the massage that would make you win, so there you go.
I was expecting it. The guy didn't arrive on time, so no. But it just it was very important not to. I mean, in the head, not to feel too down, because it's very easy to see, to put yourself, on the bottom, especially when your teammate is doing such a good job. So it was important to make a reset. I know I can win races, that I can do pole, that I can win championship. It's just those last 2 days were absolutely awful, and that can happen. So it's important to reset as a team and to go back to work and with a good state of mind.
Yeah, the talk of a defending champion. Now it's time you can take the pole position trophy and award yourself. Thanks very much.
So Jean-Eric Vergne, his 11th pole position of his Formula E career. Very impressive performance. There's Antonio Felix da Costa, a little bit disappointed, having a drink. Let's go down to Vergne.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, I'm here with Mark Preston, team principal from DS Techeetah. It's not Antonio Felix da Costa at the front, but it's Jean-Eric Vergne. It's another Techeetah car taking pole position. Congratulations, Mark. Tell us the difference, though, between Jeb's car today and Antonio's, please.
I think Antonio just made a mistake in turn 6, and we were just having a look at the total grids covered by 0.9 of a second today. So it's just tightening up as we're, I suppose, repeating at the same sort of surface and track. So he only missed out by a little bit. It was only a tenth or something behind Van Dorn, and then he was out of the Super Pole. So yeah, but Jev got in and made it pay.
I've no doubt that he's still smiling, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he is. It will be all night, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What words of wisdom did you give Jev in these difficult last couple of days?
I mean, everybody's been talking to him. He's been talking to everybody, engineers. We've all been discussing what has been going wrong, and obviously the tyres have a big impact. And today he's got it all sorted, and Aries back again as we expected.
He looks like, though, Mark, he looks like the Jev that we've come to know and love in the past seasons of Formula E. He's smiling, his shoulders are up. He must be feeling more confident. The fact that he's changed his helmet has made a massive difference.
Well, you were saying I heard you saying on the TV,
Yeah.
that's important. So yeah, could have been one of the things actually.
But it must be nice now having a happy camp, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect. When one's down, one's up. But it's Antonio in Super Pole was always a risk that he wouldn't get into Super Pole. Sorry, and the other one that was in Group 2 would get into Super Pole. So yeah, perfect really.
Tell us about, you mentioned the tyres there. With that lower start point tyre pressure, how much does that change things for you, the teams, for all the teams in pit lane?
I think it's probably helped everyone a little bit. I think Antonio is probably the only one that got it right in the last 2 days, and the slightly lower pressures have helped a bit for everybody. Maybe it changed the balance a bit, and Antonio didn't quite have it perfect, but it obviously suited Jev. So.
When you've got an unstable camp, shall we say, one half with Antonio, one half with Jev for the first 2 races, how does that affect the mechanics? How does that affect the rest of the team?
I mean, everybody's stressed because they want both drivers up the front, but we've known Jev for a long time, so he's gone through ups and downs, and he's always come back. So he's come back today, and that proves it's the old Jev, as we hoped and expected, and here he is.
How soon this morning into practice did you realise, he's all right, he's back, he hasn't forgotten how to drive?
I mean, running really close in, the first practices to Antonio, and then both being up the front, that's pretty easy to see that he's back.
You've got great race pace, so Antonio mustn't be that disheartened with his position in qualifying.
No, I mean, when you look at his points deficit, he's just got to take it easy and take it careful, and run the races he's done in the last 2 days. He can be confident that he knows what he can do, and he's got to deliver as we know.
Yeah, he doesn't have to win it today. As long as he wins it Thursday, that's good enough, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. The champagne will still be cold, Dario.
And still taste just as good.
Oh, very nice. OK, let's go to Jack with highlights of qualifying. Thanks, Mark.
Well, out went Antonio Felix da Costa after such an impressive performance. in the last couple of days. Could he repeat that, being the only driver to get through from Group 1 into Superpole? The answer was no. Reasonable lap, but it was this man, Stoffel van Dorn, who was the most impressive in the Mercedes-Benz EQ. The only driver this time from Group 1 to get through into Superpole. Alex Sims managed to finish in 16th position at the end of qualifying. He was a little bit off the pace in the second part of quali. Jean-Eric Vergne, though, in the second part of quali was not. Absolutely flying. And he booked himself a place in Superpole. Robin Franks out on track. He had a big lock-up coming down into the penultimate corner, but he still managed to do enough to get into Superpole. But those lock-ups would then plague him in that session. Alex Lynn, mightily impressive for Mahindra. Made another Superpole appearances. That's 2 in 3 races now for the British driver, looking for his first points on his return to the championship, replacing Pascal Wehrlein. It was 5th place for him in the Superpole session. Max Günther did a very good job in Superpole. Second quickest, was quicker than Jerome D'Ambrosio. Robin Franks was very loose. Jean-Eric Vergne, though, it was, who took pole position by a huge half a second for round 8 of the ABB FIA Formula E Championship. Vergne on pole in Berlin. Let's go back down to Vernon Kane.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, Dario, I think there might be a big sigh of relief, the fact that Da Costa is 9th on the grid.
Well, not from him, I'm sure, but for the rest of the field, absolutely. It's really mixed things up, hasn't it? You know, that 9th position start, he's in the zone where you get some action on the first lap, shall we say. So, yeah, a pretty mixed-up qualifying from what we've seen the last couple of days, and very good for the championship, good for the show.
Yeah, and interesting that Buemi and Di Grassi didn't exactly do what we wanted them to do in quali.
No, Di Grassi wasn't too bad. Buemi was strangely off the pace there, and you saw Mitch Evans again, both Jaguars outside the top 10, both Mahindras in Superpole, which was very good.
Fantastic performance, yeah, and we send our love, as always, to Dilbad Gill, who's quarantining in his hotel. Okay, Nikki is actually, she's managed to grab Antonio Felix da Costa. Nikki, quickly over to you.
I have indeed. Antonio Felix da Costa. Now, talk us through, how does that make you feel, going to be starting from the race in P9?
It's all right. We've done that a few times, not only this year, but in previous years, and the car is really quick in the race as well, so it's okay. I mean, Superpole is always a super exciting part of the day, and it's, we missed out by a few hundredths. And yeah, Group 1 was a little bit worse today. I mean, Stoffel did a great job to put it up in Superpole. I did a small mistake in turn 6, and you know, with how tight things are, it's enough to not go through. So right, we'll have a fun race.
And how does it make you feel that on pole position it's Jean-Eric Vergne?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, Javi really reset it and he came back so strong. So, I mean, it shows that the car still has the potential and gives me even more confidence to go out there and race.
And what is the strategy going to be? You know, because we've seen in the past, I guess you put everything on the line to win a race, but actually, are you just going to take this a little bit easier today?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to do any crazy stuff, but no, still gonna go have fun. We have an attacking car, and I want to go offensive and you know, try and finish up front.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Antonio Felix da Costa. Good luck for the race. I mean, that is so exciting. Cannot believe that we now have Jean-Eric Vergne on pole position, his teammate down in 9th. The championship is very much still alive, so please do join us for the race starting in just a couple of hours here at Berlin Tempelhof for the season finale. We'll see you then.